Hello everyone, Electrical Squid here. So today I am going to be ranking every single Splatoon 1, Splatoon 2, and Splatoon 3 special weapon. This list will purely be based off of how fun they are to use and a little bit about the design and the balance. I'm not sure why this list includes both the Rainmakers and MC Princess Cannon, as those are mode specific and map specific weapons, so we're not going to include those, so yeah. But without further ado, let's get started with the Splatoon 1 specials. So I'd say Inkzuka is probably my favorite Splatoon 1 special. It is pretty fun to use. It's pretty cool that it shoots one-shot tornadoes. You're pretty vulnerable when using it. My main problem with it is that you're not really going to get a lot of Zuka that much, because if you didn't know, Splatoon 1 specials had their own points required to get them, unlike Splatoon 2 and 3 where special points are attached to main weapons. Most of the weapons with Zuka also have heavy depletion, and I get why they did this, because being able to shoot a bunch of one-shot tornadoes is a little bit extreme. So yeah, I get why they did it, so that you can't really get a whole lot of Zukas. But at the same time, even when I played 10 Attack Splattershot in Splatoon 1, it feels like it takes an eternity to charge it up. So yeah, that's my main problem with Zuka, but otherwise it's a very fun special. Next up is Killer Whale. I'm going to put this one in B tier. It's not my favorite, but it does look really cool, and catching people inside the radius is pretty satisfying. But that's really all I got to say about it. It's definitely one of the better designed displacement specials, probably one of the best to be honest. So yeah, but otherwise I don't have much to say about Killer Whale. It's just a good special. I actually really like Splatoon 1 Ink Strike. I like how it makes you use the gamepad and you can tap on the map to choose where the strike lands. I really like the paint output it produces. Like with Whale, catching people inside of it is satisfying. I just like the depth it has, and it's quite fun. So I'm not a big fan of the bomb rushes. They're fine, but at the same time you just throw bombs. There's not a whole lot of depth to it. So I'm just gonna put them in C tier, which is like the okay tier, but I'm gonna put Burst Bomb Rush in B tier because I do think it's the best one to use. Out of all of them, you can pull off some pretty satisfying combos with them, so yeah. Bubbler is a bit of a tricky one because while it does instantly activate and you're fully invincible, those parts I don't really like, but you also get some knockback, and in order for your teammates to get the bubble, they have to come up close to you, so that part's pretty cool. So, but at the same time, it's not all that fun to use. You just turn invincible. That's really it. So I'm just gonna put it in C tier. Kraken is gonna go in B tier. Just like with Bubbler, the instant activation and full invincibility is not great, but it does have knockback, and you know it is pretty fun to kind of zoom around the map, even through enemy ink, and the one shot is fun to use. So it's a decent special. There are some missteps with it, but otherwise it's definitely the Splatoon 1 special. That's how I'll put it. And finally, with the Splatoon 1 specials is Echolocator. I'm putting it in F tier. I do not like this special at all. It's not like awful to play against or anything, but like there's just nothing to it. All you do is you pop it and it locates the entire enemy team, and that's it. I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to see the enemy team. Location is useful for preventing flankers from being sneaky, you know, but like it's just not fun to use, and it doesn't really change the way the enemy team plays all that much, aside from not being able to flank without being seen. Yeah, I don't like Echolocator. Now onto the Splatoon 2 specials. So first off, we have Tenna Missiles. This is gonna go in D tier. I don't really like Tenna Missiles. The special is pretty notorious for being spammed a lot. That was definitely the biggest problem with it. The global range kind of sucks. But yeah, that part was really the only thing that made it super annoying. But still, the special is not really that fun to use. They can be a bit satisfying if you capitalize off it. And I also kind of like how the less people you target, the more missiles that go towards them. So like one person, you shoot 8 missiles at them, and just 2 people, they each get 5 missiles aimed at them. That part I think can kind of incentivize the user to wisely choose who to target, but otherwise missiles is missiles. That's not great. And next up we have Stingray, the worst special that has ever been made. This is another very spammable special, especially with custom jet squelcher, and that especially sucks because, you know, this thing is literally an infinite range beam that goes through walls. It's fully controllable by the player. So if the player is good enough with the special, the opponents are just not going to escape unless they super jump away or pop armor or displace it. There's just so little counterplay against this thing, and yeah, it's horrible. I get that some players might find getting kills with this thing satisfying. I personally don't. It feels very cheap. And yeah, it's horrible. I'm glad Nintendo stopped giving this to weapons 6 months into the game, and you can also see just how much they nerfed the crap out of this special. Those are both huge signs of how poorly designed this thing is, so yeah, bye-bye Ray. I do think Ink Storm is pretty cool. I really like the concept of it. You know, it's a rain cloud that rains ink. Yeah, it's a pretty neat displacement tool, and I think comboing off of the chip damage it does is pretty satisfying. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about it, other than I really like the concept. Baller is a weird one because it did kind of suck toward the end of Splatoon 2's life, but it was also, I think it was decently fun to use. I liked being able to roll around and catching people off guard with the explosion. They didn't see me coming. That was pretty cool. I like that the special is shreddable, even if that part did make the special suck a little bit. All in all, I think Baller is a pretty cool special. It definitely has its problems, but it's pretty fun to use. Bubble Blower is another tricky one. This is another one where I think the concept is all right. Of course, the broken bomb combo was incredibly dumb, but I think that was just a balance issue. It is a bit extreme, being that you can pretty much throw 2 giant shields that last 14 seconds. The enemy team can shoot at it, and it can make the bubbles shrink in size, so that's nice. It's definitely not my favorite special, and I definitely had a lot of balance issues, so, but otherwise, I'm okay with it. Next up is Booyah Bomb. This is definitely one of my favorite Splatoon 2 specials. I really like how it's based off the Spirit Bomb from Dragon Ball Z. I like how it makes the players use the Booyah button, which is normally pretty useless. And the special just, you know, it just looks really cool. It has a decent amount of counterplay as well, like how the user is stuck in the air for a little bit, and if you team up against them, you can shred them and kill them. The bomb itself paints from the inside out, so you can paint inside it to reduce the paint output that it does, and it can give you a little bit of special charge. It's just a really cool special. I really like Booyah Bomb. But yeah, Ultra Stamp is another special that I really, really like. It is a bit hard to use, and it is quite vulnerable, especially from the front when the stamp is lifted up, and it's always vulnerable from the sides and the back. But otherwise, it's just a really cool looking special. It's fun to use. Both the rush mode and the jump swing mode. Getting kills with the throw mode is one of the most satisfying things you can ever do in this game. It's just such a cool special, and I really like it. It's just also a little bit vulnerable, so that's why it's not an S tier, but otherwise, yeah, it's really cool. Next up is my favorite Splatoon 2 special, Inkjet, which is going to be the first S tier. I'm sure you all know how much I love this special, being how much 10 attack Splattershot I played in Splatoon 2. I just love being able to kind of fly around and access areas you can't normally access. You get very nice vantage points with this special. Being able to use Squid Form to dodge attacks is really nice. It has a good amount of vulnerabilities. Its fire rate is slow, and you know you're vulnerable while in the air. So the special definitely has a very high skill ceiling, and I really like that about it. It's just an awesome special. One of my favorites ever. Yet another weird special to rank is Splashdown. I think I'll put it in C tier between Bubble Blower and Bubbler. On one hand, it does look pretty cool, and getting kills with it can be satisfying. Not really a fan of how it's kind of designed to be a panic button, and most of the time when you do panic kick, it doesn't work because it's so easy to shoot down, so you don't even get to slam the ground as much as you'd probably like to. I think being able to super jump with the special and just eat bombs and other objects is really cool, but because of how much it sucks, it's definitely held down quite a bit, so C tier is where it's at. Ink Armor is going to go into D tier. This is just a worse designed bubbler. The main problem is just that it globally changed to your entire team. That part is really dumb. If it was like Bubbler where you had to get close to the armor user to get your own armor, then yeah, that would definitely make it better, but still, it's really annoying to fight, especially with slow weapons. At least with Bubbler, you struggle with it with no matter what weapon you use. Some things that are nice about it is that it has startup time, and the glowing eyes and kind of fogginess of the special do reveal your location, making it hard to shark with the special, so. But yeah, this special is not very good. Not really that fun. I mean, sometimes it can feel nice to save your teammates with armor, but otherwise, that's where it's at. And the bomb launchers are just like the bomb rushes from Splatoon 1, except I think you can actually throw them a bit farther than the rushes, so they'll go in the same tier. I will put Burst Bomb Rush up there though, because that's my favorite bomb out of all the bomb rushes, so yeah. Now next up are the Splatoon 3 specials. This is definitely where things take a turn for the best. This one might be a bit of a hot take, but I actually like Trizooka more than Inkzooka. I think it being limited to 3 shots makes it more rewarding to use when you actually get kills with the weapon, and you know it makes you have to be wise with your shots. Like you don't want to waste a shot just shooting in a random direction and hoping you nab someone when in reality no one's actually there. I just think it's one of the most well-designed specials ever made, and yeah, it's really fun to use. I really like Trizuka. I'm fine with Killer Whale 5.1. It does look pretty cool. I guess you could say it's tameable since it does track your movement, but with delay. So if you move slowly, it pretty much won't touch you at all. So that's cool that you can control it like that. This is basically just way better designed missiles slash stingrays. So that's really all I gotta say about Whale 5.1. It's decent. This is probably gonna be another hot take because everyone seems to hate Crab Tank, and I get where they're coming from. But I personally really like it. The main thing I like about Crab Tank is how much depth it has. You have the rapid fire mode and the explosher mode, as I like to call it. Getting kills with both of those modes are pretty satisfying. You also have the ball form to move around and climb up walls with. And it also heals you and prevents you from taking damage. The special is also very fightable, as the special itself is breakable and you're vulnerable when in the shooting modes. Countering this special is a bit difficult with the way the maps are designed, but still, the counterplay is there. And I also appreciate the end lag nerfs it got. That definitely makes it way easier and more rewarding to fight. I do think it does need a little more nerfs, like maybe a range nerf, or actually I think that's really all that's left that Crab Tank needs. It's just a range nerf, maybe by like 5 or 10%, and that way it probably won't be so strong anymore. Because yeah, Crab Tank is dominating the Splatoon 3 meta right now, so yeah, hopefully next patch it gets a range nerf. So regardless of how strong it is, I still think this special is very fun to use, contrary to popular beliefs. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Big Bubbler. It's definitely probably the best designed protection special, or one of the best. But I'm gonna put it in C tier, as I don't think it's that fun to use. I mean, it can be rewarding to save your teammates with it, and I do like the counterplay. You have shooting at it reduces its HP and size, and you get to shred it faster either by shooting at the top of it, or even faster by shooting at the beacon. Yeah, the beacon part is nice, and how it gives jumps into a safe spot. I do think Big Bubbler is especially annoying to deal with in tower control, but that's really the only annoying part of it. Otherwise, I think it's a fine special. It's just not my favorite. What is my favorite special though is Zipcaster. Yes, this is my favorite special of all time. I just love being able to cling to stuff and probably go flying around the map. I really like the playmaking potential with this special and just flat out getting kills with it. Heck, even if you don't get kills with it, just causing distractions and just flying around the enemy is just so much fun. And you know, it has good counterplay too. It's vulnerable. The armor you get when you travel with the special is nice. Otherwise, the special might probably suck. I don't know. I just love being able to go places you can't normally go to without specials. And Zipcaster is just the perfect weapon for that, and it just suits my playstyle very well. Vacuum is really cool. Even though it's in a weak spot right now, I still think it's a really cool concept, and it's quite satisfying to use. How you can just suck up enemy shots to protect teammates who are in front of you is cool. And I really like how they made it so you get to shoot a projectile after the suction mode, and how it gets bigger the more enemy ink you suck up. Yeah, Ink Vacuum is just one of the coolest support specials they have ever made. This might be a bit of a hot take, but I like Triple Ink Strike a little bit less than normal Ink Strike. I like how with normal Ink Strike it makes you use the gamepad. With Triple Ink Strike though, you just throw 2 little landing markers for the strikes and they just come crashing down, I guess. But still, the special is really cool. It's a very nice displacement tool, and it has very high damage per second, so it can shred objects really easily, and it's quite threatening to any player caught within the strikes. Really all I gotta say about it. I quite like the special. Not my favorite though, but it's cool. I also really like Tacticooler. I'm kind of split between putting it in low A or high B. Actually, I'll go low B tier because I personally don't think just having the special all the time is that fun. But if you're using a different weapon, and grabbing a drink is I think is really helpful. I really like the buffs it gives: the swim speed, run speed, intensify action, special saver, quick respawn, quick super jump, and ink resistance. It is a little bit weak right now because of how the maps are designed and how hard it is to actually move in. But still, I think having just the quick respawn and special saver and quick super jump is really nice. Also, another thing, Tacticooler weirdly kind of makes me thirsty. Like, it makes me want to go get some pop. So Tacticooler is really cool, and whenever it's popped close by, I always grab a drink. Wavebreaker is definitely way better designed echolocator. Not my absolute favorite special, but I do think it's nice to play off the chip damage done by it. And I do like the trade-offs it gives, how any player going against it either has to jump over the waves and expose themselves, or they keep their movement but are forced to get located and take damage. And you can also break the Wavebreaker itself as well, which is nice. Again, I don't really have much to say about Wavebreaker other than I just like how much better design it is than Echolocator. Reef Slider is one of those specials where despite how bad it is, I actually think it's really fun. I just think charging in with it is really cool and doing the explosion. It's also cool how you get to choose when you want to explode. This is definitely a way better designed splashdown. Of course, I do wish it had less end lag. It was able to eat bombs and maybe be able to be used from a super jump, which is definitely things Splashdown did better than it. But otherwise, despite the spot it's in, it's actually decently fun. Now, the returning Splatoon 2 specials are mostly the same. I do like the nerf tennis missiles got that reduce its spammability. It gets a 10-second cooldown after it's popped, but it's still missiles. It's not great. I really like the buffs that Inkjet got. It got better reliability with the damage, especially the 50 shot being bigger. And they made the jump that you do when you press B absolutely huge. Like the clips I've seen on Twitter, you actually get, with that buff, you actually get to go to some pretty insane spots. Inkstorm, I think, is unchanged, so it'll just go on the same spot. Same with Booyah Bomb and Ultra Stamp. Yeah, these specials are mostly the same. Nearly everything I said about them when I went through the Splat 2 specials still applies somewhat. Super Jump is, well, it's definitely the cutest special they ever made. I still feel though it's quite weak. I'm not really sure where to put it. I think I'll just put it between Bowler and Bomb Rushes. I mean, I do think it's nice to be able to use the chumps as a little meat shield for yourself. I think the fact that they showed player jump markers is cool. It kind of lets you sneak in a super jump. But otherwise, I do feel the special is quite weak. I feel like it does need some buffs, like maybe more damage, more pain, or they could make it so that the chumps are closer together. Because most of the time, you're just gonna ignore the chumps, maybe break a few, but if they made it like that, you probably have to break some more. But yeah, that's where Chumps is at right now. I don't really have any strong feelings about the special. Finally is Kraken Royale. This is definitely way better designed than normal Kraken. You are much bigger, but you also move slower, and the twirl you do is 2 shots instead of 1. However, you also get a charge attack that kills in 1 shot and makes a nice direct sound. So yeah, that can be pretty satisfying to pull off. And you also get to squid roll and surge with it, so that's cool. It still has knockback, and with the recent patch, you get more knockback on the tower, so it's not as cheesable, which is definitely a problem I had beforehand. Yeah, it's cool that the special came back in a much better spot. So yeah, that is my ranking for every single Splatoon special that has ever been, strictly based on how fun I think they are to use. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to smack the like button, and if you're considering unsubscribing to the channel, be sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. And if you want to support me even more, be sure to check out my other socials in the description. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.